Hello?
Yes, hello, Stephen. Hey, Scott, giving you a call about your house at,
Looks like 935 Anderson Street there in Lehigh Acres.
Mhm.
hi there, how are you?
Good.
Good, good. Hey, I see that you were just online here recently. Looks like you indicated that you wanted to sell your house. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
You're wanting to sell? Okay, great. Well, what can you tell me about the house? I mean, is it like vacant or rented or are you occupying
Um,
it?
no, I have renters in and out. They're just not paying on time.
Ah, you got renters not paying on time. I feel your pain. Wow. How long are they, or how far are they behind?
Um, I mean, they just if the rent's due on the first, they'll pay it on the 10th or the 15th or
I see.
it's just never on time.
Kind of having to
So
chase them to get the money.
yeah.
So,
So
you sound like you might be an investor. You have other properties you rent out?
I just have two houses here.
Okay. Just there in Florida?
Was that?
I said just there in Florida? You have two houses
Yeah.
right there
I
in
love
Lehigh?
one.
Okay.
No, I have one in Lehigh.
Okay. Well, how long have you owned this house for?
2 years.
Okay. All right. So are you fairly new to doing this kind of landlording or have you been doing it
Yeah.
yeah,
For
okay.
1 year.
Okay.
I lived in the house for 1 year and I got a VA loan for the house and Um, just decided to buy something else.
I got you. Did you say you lived where now?
What's that? I live in LaBelle.
Oh, okay,
Uh,
okay. I thought I heard you say that you lived in Mass, as in
No, I
Massachusetts.
no, I said I got a VA loan for that house and
Oh, I got you. Okay, okay. Well, let me tell you how it is that I buy, and especially considering that you're a landlord, I think this might be something you could get your head around because it would involve a monthly payment, but not rent. So the way that I typically buy is I do what's called owner financing, and all that means is that we do agree on a monthly payment for a period of time that we can agree on. Obviously, that number has to make sense to you, as it would have to make sense to me as well. In other words, what I'm really saying is we would just have to find a number that works for both of us if we can find that reasonable spot. We would actually buy the house now, but we would do it at least on the front end with payments for a while until we're ready to cash it out in full, meaning that we would pay you what we would owe you in full. If I can put something together that actually makes sense to you on that, is that something you would consider doing? Taking a monthly payment?
sure.
So you would not be like a
Okay.
landlord or anything like that. Okay, we do buy as is. And do you know the condition of the house? I
It's in,
say I buy as is, but let me ask you about the condition.
it's in really good conditions. You know, relatively. It's only like 8 or 9 years old, I think.
Okay, so you don't think
Uh,
the renters
it's
are
got a-
abusing it or anything like that?
no, it's a nice 3 bedroom, 2 bath. It's got a pool and everything. I have solar panels on the roof and it's it's nice.
So now did you have the solar panels installed or was it that way when you bought it?
No, I had them installed.
So is it like on a 20-year kind of a plan thing or
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is? Okay. And I'm assuming that that's assumable if we
Right.
had someone that wanted to do that. Okay. So it's assumable. How much is that, by the way, per month? Do you
They
know?
$300 a month, maybe 250 or 300.
Okay. So you got the solar. So are you providing the electricity and all that for your tenant buyer? Is that part of their deal or?
Yeah, I provide I provide everything.
Okay. So it's probably kind of paying for itself.
Yeah,
So, okay.
and it's in Florida, so
A lot of
there's
sun
not
in
much.
Florida.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sun there. Get you a lot of electricity for sure. So, well, what are you asking for the house?
With the solar panels and everything, I mean, probably 360.
Okay. So how about if we put the solar panels aside for a second, if we were just looking at the house, because I know that 360, I want to get my head around the solar panels, but I know that 360 would put you above the market on if we were just talking the house.
Yeah,
So, I mean, what are you paying for the solar panels? I mean, like total amount.
I think it's like $60,000.
So you think it's like 60. So, and you've only had it 2 years, which means so you still owe the majority of that 60.
Yeah,
Okay. So the house would really be more around 300 if you're selling for 360. I gotta just get my head around those solar panels and see if that's something that we could work with.
okay.
So I'm going to make an assumption that, do you have a mortgage or is it free and clear?
That I have a mortgage.
You do, okay, and I'm assuming, so is that a VA as well, this particular one?
Yeah, that's the deal. Yeah.
It is, okay. So, and about how much is owed on that? What's left?
I think it's about 295. I'd have to look.
295,000. Okay, and what's your monthly payment? When you make the payment, I'm going to assume you make the taxes and insurance with that whole
Yeah,
payment?
taxes. Yeah, taxes, insurance, everything is about
Yep.
2,600.
2,600, okay. So, yeah, so you probably have a little bit of a higher rate there too, if that was in the last 2 years. You know what your interest rate is?
I think it's between 4 and 4.5.
Well, these days, that's actually not bad. That's certainly better than what it's
Yeah.
doing now.
It's on the 6,
So-
6.7.
Yeah, so typically the way that we would do it is, so what happens is that we would come in, we would go to closing, we'd have the attorney do all the paperwork so that we can make that payment legitimately to the bank. And so what happens is that the mortgage stays in your name. That's why we have the attorney involved so that we can make that payment. So they do that paperwork so that we can do that. And then at some point within the time frame that we agree on, we would pay that off in full. So, and you probably know with a VA loan, you have a certain amount of credit. Obviously, until that mortgage is paid off, you don't have access to that credit until that's
That's
paid
right.
off. So I just want you to know that up front.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I mean, are you looking to buy another house or you're just gonna do
No,
different
I already
things?
have.
Oh,
Yeah, I
oh,
already have.
okay, all right. So you're talking about like your own house.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're not looking to invest in any other housing for renting?
No.
Are you
No.
done with all that?
Yeah, especially with the market right now.
Yeah, it's not always for the faint of heart. So I can understand what you're saying there. So, well, what would you consider giving us for time? I want the max amount of time that I can get because I want to sleep at night. Want to just make sure that we have enough time to do what we're agreeing to. But if we do all this, and again, we buy as is, you're not a landlord. We're responsible, of course, for the house. We're paying taxes, we're paying insurance, the whole thing. What would you give us for time? What would be the most you'd give us?
As far as I don't understand the question. Like,
To pay off the mortgage in full. So
Oh.
in other words, we'll cover that mortgage payment each month. You're telling me that's about $2,600 a month. And I'm saying, so, okay, we'll go ahead and cover that payment, but how much time do I have before I have to pay off that full mortgage? And I'm just looking for the most amount of years that I can get, keeping in mind that as soon as it makes sense for me to sell, because I can tell you, if we get anywhere near the price that you're looking at, I'm going to need some time because I got to let the property sort of leverage here for a little bit. So that
Right.
it makes sense for me to do business.
yeah, what's
Um,
difficult, like a year or two, or
Well, I mean, if we're at this price, I guess it depends on where your price really is on this. The solar panels are in your name. I still got to get my head around those solar panels. And maybe what it is, if we just assume, because this is going to be it really has to be a separate agreement. Because we're going to have to assume the payment for the solar. In other words, they'll transfer that over to us.
right?
So if we do that, that takes that off the plate here for the price of the house. So if we take over the solar panel payments and you owe 295,000, and now the house really is 300,000, there's only $5,000 in there. Right? Because now we're going to pay the 60 that you owe. We're going to just assume that we're going to take that over. So you
Right.
basically have about $5,000 of equity sitting in the house. Is that making sense in what I'm saying
Right.
there?
Yeah.
So what I would probably do is this, and I still want to, I have to get over there to see the house and all that stuff. I'm definitely motivated to do all that because it sounds like you're flexible. I think we just give you the difference between what you owe and what you're asking for the house. So if you're asking the 300, then we wouldn't even have a term. I'll just pay off that mortgage whenever it makes sense to me to pay it off. I don't know if that's 2 years from now or 10 years from now. I'll just let it sit, and when it makes sense to me to do business with it, that's when I would do it. So I can
Okay.
leverage that property. In the meantime, you get out of the property, you get what little equity that you have in the property. You don't have to worry about the solar because we'll assume that we'll take over that whole thing.
Mhm.
And then we'll just cash it out when it makes sense for us to do that. Is that something you would consider?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to Chris. He's my business partner. We're gonna reach back out to you. I might be on a call with him later this afternoon, but if not even this afternoon, maybe in the morning. Are you available for a call back either later today or tomorrow morning?
Yeah. If I don't answer, I can give you a call back if I'm in a meeting or something.
Okay. Is this your cell?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, Stephen, great. Yeah, I'm going to talk to Chris, and then we just got to make arrangements. We really got to get over there to see the house so that we can see if it makes sense for all of us to do this together. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I appreciate your
I'll
time.
look to see what the mortgage balance is on it as well.
That'll be good. Yeah, let's see what that is so we can see the difference on the equity. And if we can just get that in your hands now, then you're going to get what you would get out of the house anyway. Maybe that's the best way.
It appraised for like I think it appraised for like 325.
Yeah, and you said you bought it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, the only problem is, especially, and this is more of a Florida issue right now, things have flattened a little bit. There is saturation right now that the rest of the country is not feeling, but a lot of places in Florida are.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of big appreciation over the last 2 years. But let's talk through that. Let me at least see that property, and then we'll really have something to talk about. But you sound real flexible, and we'll see what we can do together. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome, Stephen. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hey,